ọmọ ìlú ní gómìnà kan. Iṣẹ́ yá. Jídé Adédìran dé. Ọpọlọ. Òfin líle máa ṣùmàtọ̀. Ó tó gẹ́. Jàǹdó dé. Bọ́mọ Èkó ṣe kò fẹ́ra má nílùú Èkó mọ́.
Àbí Èkó wa kọ́ rèé tí gbogbo wa jẹ́ alẹ́nu lọ́rọ̀ nígbà kan kíkun Èkó lọ́dà ò tó wọn à ń jó sí dandan ní ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀ ará ìlú. Dr. Ọlájídé Adédìran kájú ẹ̀ Jàǹdó for governor kí gbogbo ọ̀nà ṣe rìn fọ́kọ̀ ọrọ̀ ajé tí ò ní pákánleke. Ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ìbò dídì gbara wa lọ́wọ́ ogun gbódò ńrọ́ṣọ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbárùkù ti Dr. Jídé Adédìran àti Fúnkẹ́ Akíndélé sí ipò gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó àti igbákejì lábẹ́ àsíá ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú PDP fún ìdàgbàsókè àti ìlọsíwájú tó péye. Vote Jàǹdó for Lagos Governor 2023.
PDP, power to the people.
Àwọn Friends of Lagos ló ṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ ìkéde yìí.
Talk back.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Bumper Breakfast Show. My name is Tong Aderile, and I'd like to say to you, welcome to the month of September, and I pray that September will be a wonderful month and a blessed month for everybody. And if you ask me this morning, I think I'm blessed. I'm so excited, and I feel highly honored and humble as well to be on the show for the very first time with Robin. Robin, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Tom.
I'm excited to be on the show with you today.
Yeah, same here, because I've seen you, I've seen a couple of your programs on the Bumper Breakfast shows with other colleagues, and I was like, okay, probably the time schedule has not made us to sit together to have, I believe we'll have a wonderful program today, not even when it's the 1st of February.
Exactly.
The new month, and I'm wearing white. It's like I want to prophesy in somebody's life today. But
make it my life first.
My name is Robin Emmanuel Oluwafemi. For a short, my good friends call me Rio. If you want to sign a check for me, please write Robin Emmanuel Oluwafemi. But if you just want to address me outside for a shot, just call me Rio. That's the abbreviation of Robin Emmanuel Oluwafemi. R-E-O.
Rio.
Yes, Rio. So welcome to another Bomba edition. And then today is going to be very, very different because it's like two different persons that have never done programs together having the program now. So let's see if we would have the same ideology at the show.
Yes, and this morning we're also expecting Tommy, since she's on her way, but she's stuck in traffic. It's a Wednesday morning, and usually traffic on Wednesdays
I feel right now there is nothing per se to point out that we are enjoying as a Nigerian.
I'm telling you.
As a Nigerian right now, I feel we are enduring instead of enjoying, with all our natural resources, with all our African giant of Africa. We still kill, even a wealthy man now, an average man now, and a poor man, we all kill for currency.
I mean,
we kill for fuel. Mm-hmm. We kill for different things in this country, even to take our PVC, and we all still meet ourselves in traffic.
It's quite unfortunate, but what do? We just hope that the appropriate authorities feel our pain. And, if they feel our pain, we expect that something should be done, and expressly as well. Unfortunately, like you said, this is a great leveler. There is no petrol, so there's petrol scarcity. Mm-hmm. Of course, the high ups wouldn't go to the petrol station. They have their drivers go to the petrol station to get petrol for them. But you see, when it comes to getting money, cash, everybody needs some cash to be able to survive. And so we are. We've been leveled. The situation
although it's not 50-50.
It's not 50-50 because some people would just call the bank manager.
Yes, I need to. Because I saw a video over the weekend and Emma was spraying couple, and he was not spraying like single notes.
It was spraying in the bundles, yes.
And guess what? It's a new currency.
Yes.
And I was like, man, we are hustling for this thing, and somebody is just, giving it out like that. So we are all hustling for this money, but not on the same level. But however, almost the same level. However, almost the same level, but there would always be differences. Don't worry, there would always be. But right now, currently as a Nigerian, I'm proud to be in Nigeria, but I don't think I'm happy right now because there are a lot of things going on. Nothing is working in this country at the moment. I can say that 100%.
I just hope you're not thinking of
jackpine. Where?
You see, if everybody jackpass, the thing is, who's going to stay here to make it work? So, I mean, some of us just don't believe in the jackpass syndrome. We want to stay here and make it. If we've stayed here for so long, I mean, this is not the time to leave. For someone like me.
For someone like me,
I
believe you faced so many economic instability and policy challenges in the country. Not now.
This is
that not supposed to like, hey, you got to do what you read. Let's lecture you guys and let you know that this is a temporary challenge.
But the thing is that it's going to get better.
Of course, definitely it will.
And of course, even this program is going to get better in a few seconds because we are going to have.
You guys need to see how
Tomisi just walked into the studio, and as usual, she will cause this kind of distraction with her character traits, with her dressing, and with everything about her. She's just a character. Anyway, let's...
All right, welcome back to the Bumper Breakfast. Apologies for that mix-up and, of course, the technical issues here. We're sincerely hoping and praying, keeping our fingers crossed that Nigeria will get better. But, of course, let's say this people this morning. There definitely will be interference once in a while when you have a channel like this. Okay? Yes.
Well, my name is Tom Adirili, and I'm glad to be on the Bumper Breakfast show this Wednesday morning. Well, Tomisi, you talked about issues. I mean, Nigeria is surrounded with issues. That's what is trending now, issues. The question is, which of the issues
do we want to deal with?
Do we want to discuss? It's unfortunate, but that's where we have found ourselves today in this country. This country that is blessed with human resources, with natural resources, with everything. How come? How did we get here? It's a big question. It's a huge one. And I know that someday the answers will come. I know the answers are blowing in the wind. They will soon land. And God will help us to better the situation in Nigeria. I'm glad to be on the Bumper Breakfast show this Wednesday morning. And we have with us the Balogun.
Balogun lẹ́yìn obìnrin.
I know that. Sorry? I don't get what you're saying.
Oh, sorry.
The Balogun.
I thought you got what I was saying. Like I thought you did.
Is that Balogun lẹ́yìn obìnrin?
Yeah, that's what it is.
We're obìnrin, and you're Balogun.
You're the
that's
Balogun.
what you're saying. Okay.
Balogun.
Thank you very much for our title. I'm honored. My title just got increased with, by one title again. My name is Ambassador Robin Emmanuel. It depends, Lord, because because embassy, won't even understand. My name is Ambassador Robin Emmanuel Oluwafemi. For a short, you can call me Ria. And of course, it's a privilege to be on the show this morning, Wednesday morning again. Wednesdays are for ladies, that's what we call it, ladies' night, Wednesday ladies. So big shout out to all the women in the world today. Big shout out to all the mothers, to all the wives, all the sisters, and to all the baby girls, right? And big shout out to my future wife. Let me shout out to you now. When I come, please make sure you know that I've arrived. Don't stress me. My talking stage will not pass 1 week. The talking stage, like 2 months, 3 months, is no longer a stage. Maybe there is no stage. Talking stage should not be now.
Correct.
Within 1 month,
I support you 100%.
1 week, 2 weeks, you should know if it's right or not, because he's doing his attitude, his response, his manner of approach, all these things come on. I'm telling you so that you will know when I come. I cannot stress. All this
I cannot come and die.
I don't want. Yes, there are a lot of issues going on in the country, a lot of scarcities, and I say there's scarcity of everything. Mention it. That's scarcity. There's scarcity of parenting right now too.
No, we had that one before.
Like a scarcity of good wives too now, because that's why somebody like us is wearing white on this head, and the God can even let you to see that we are wearing white. I pray you can even just pity somebody, because
you can just become an angel.
Over the night.
Angel Rio.
Angel will not marry you. I'm human real.
All right. On the show this morning, of course, let's quickly run through some of the headline stories. Let's just pick two stories on the front page of the paper so that we can talk about the matter on ground. Our guest is on Zoom already, waiting to join us. And I think all of the stories, is related to what we're discussing with our guest this morning. So for me, the Guardian newspaper has currency swap. Buhari cancels meeting with governors as TUC issues ultimatum, meets with Bagudu Tambuwal Emefiele, EFCC bars. We have Tinubu bankers call for calm. PDP hoarding of new Naira notes causing Nigerian pains. Protests rock Ondo, Ogun. Lagos APC campaign suspends campaign, please.
Naira crisis may disrupt polls. INEC warns Emefiele, NSA. Some of our service providers have no bank accounts. Commission laments. Buhari governors meeting shelved. Minister says president's hands are tied. Banks shut branches over customers' attack. CBN calls for calm. Ogun, Ondo, Edo protesters storm banks and demand cash. Real.
All right, the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Fuel Naira crisis. TUC, NLC demand immediate action from Buhari. CBN. Buhari meets Tambuwal Bagudu Emefiele in private. Cancelled meeting with governors. CBN won't be used to frustrate February-March polls. Emefiele assure INEC, don't be scared, come out to vote. National Security Advisor of Nigeria. And of course, spray bullet hit one as protest rock Abeokuta, Ondo, Benin. Youth bloc Benin or Lagos rolled over Naira for scarcity crisis.
Just one more headline from the Punch newspaper. Fuel price to skyrocket as marketers threaten to shut down.
All right, I have Naira scarcity sparks protest. Benin CBN office bank branches short. Protesters block Benin Ore Road. Buhari meets Tambuwal Bagudu Emefiele. Right, joining us on the show this morning, we have Dr. Maridotsi Oludare. Dr. Maridotsi Oludare is joining us from the U.S. He's a Nigerian. He's a young Nigerian and has been watching what has been happening in our country for a couple of months. Now, let's hear his opinion, especially because youths took to the streets of Abeokuta just yesterday, and it was a sight that you cannot forget, with the fire and all of that across the metropolis. I'm sure that every Nigerian was concerned about that. And even here in Lagos, quite a number of people are tense. The environment is tense. People are not sure what can happen at any time. This morning, we're talking about the 2023 elections, the CBN policy, and of course, the hardship, the untold hardship this has brought to Nigerians. Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Like 1:40 or 2 a.m. my time. I'm good. I'm happy to be here, to be able to talk to you. And I want to applaud you guys for what you're doing in terms of trying to keep the calm. You're trying to keep a little bit of humor in the system, because there's real pain out there, and everybody needs a bit of distraction once in a while. Because, there is no need for this suffering that the few Nigerians are putting all of Nigerians through right now. There is no need for this suffering. We have all it takes to have a good and prosperous nation. But we have some people who know that they are about their chokehold on the Nigerian economy, and they are trying to sabotage the system. They're trying to sabotage the economy. They are in bed with a few politicians, and they know that the front runner is not in bed with them. and they know that they are going to be stopped. Because a lot of these problems are easy to stop. You see, there's no reason why we should have. That is why myself and my organization will take the CBN to the bank, actually, especially because they have broken the law. The CBN Act of 2007 does not give Emefiele the right to say what he said on November 23, 2002, that if you do not bring your money to the bank, it becomes useless in your hands. That's all. No. The subsection 3 of section 20 of the CBN Act of 2007 says that if bank just has the right to set an expiry date for the naira, and after which it is to be a legal tender. But there is a difference between a legal tender and the value of the legal tender. There was a time in Nigeria where we said we heard that the price of printing the 20 naira note was more expensive than even printing the 100 naira or 50 naira note. So yes, what they are doing is demonetization. You can demonetize a piece of paper, but the value in that piece of paper, you cannot erase it because that value is your own dignity, it's your fundamental human right. You worked for that value. So what Emefiele is trying to say is that because he is the governor of the central bank, he can at will make Dangote go broke. Can look at Dangote's money and say, oh, this is your naira note, I have demonetized it and I have taken away your value. No man in this world has that power. No man. And I will give you what he's trying to do. Weaponization of demonetization is a Nazi Germany tactics. Adolf Hitler used it when he invaded Netherlands during the Second World War. India demonetized in 2016. When they demonetized, they sought the parliament's approval, and then because they wanted that money, they didn't want to keep on redeeming the value of that money. They sought a cessation of liability ordinance from their parliament, and that cessation of liability ordinance became an act 3 months later. Emefiele did not do none of this. The legislative arm of our government never gave him a cessation of liability.
As a matter of fact, he did say that he just needed the approval of President Muhammadu Buhari, and so it was an attention-seeking strategy. They had finished this, decided on it, and everything had been concluded in the bedroom of the president. So this was brought to the fore when Emefiele announced it. And when Emefiele announced it, wasn't even the president that addressed Nigerians on October 1st to say, hello people, I'm changing the naira. It was the CBN governor who came out and told us he's changing the naira.
And he was invited several times by the National Assembly. He preferred to go to Daura to meet the president and have conversation with him rather than go to the National Assembly.
And then don't forget that at that particular point in time, the moment he made the pronouncement, the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, came out and said, I'm not aware about this. I'm not aware. Immediately, the president was not even in the country. The president responded from wherever he was and said he is aware of this. So don't you think it is the president and Emefiele being in cahoots to inflict this on Nigerians? Or is it that Emefiele did not properly brief the president or did not properly, find out what this would cost Nigerians?
So, what happens to the structures? You see, there should be procedures and processes that should be followed. And once those things are followed, then there will be no problem. Just as he rightly said, I mean, if he had, passed it through the right channel, we won't be where we are now.
Yeah.
You cannot just, push that aside and jump over and decide that.
I don't know if you saw
it doesn't make any sense.
Adam Sushil Mole's interview with one of the national televisions, and he said something. He said, when you are bringing any policy to Buhari's table, as long as you tell the president that this policy will fight corruption, this policy will kick against any form of corruption, Buhari is going to endorse it for you. And he said something that I find very significant. He said, they deceived the president. He said the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, deceived the president, maybe for personal interest, maybe for group interest, I don't know. But it's not only Adams Oshiomhole that have said this now. El-Rufai came out too. He said something very similar. And according to El-Rufai, he made an illustration to Saudi Arabia to say 7 years ago, they brought in new currency, they had a new design, and up till now, they are still using their old currency. It's just that when you get to the bank will not give you old currency. The trader will not give you old currency as change. Instead, they will give you new currency until they have everything back, and then the new currency will be in circulation.
While I hear you, Rio, these are people who know the president and understand the way he works.
And the way he thinks.
And the way he thinks. And I understand and I hear you. But at the same time, the president should have said to him, go back and follow the process.
But really, are we not talking about a situation where
this is
we
about
are
Nigeria.
making rules for Nigerians, and this president and a CBN governor have refused to put the pressure and the hardship this will cause Nigerians in front? I mean, the governors went to the president and he said it's going to take him 7 days to take a decision. Is it until the entire nation is
collapses
on fire? Let's go back to our guest, really. Olujare, these are some of the issues we would like to address. Are you thinking like we're thinking, that the president is aware about this and is just taking his time to see where this will escalate to?
I think, I definitely agree with you that the president was put way into, acceding to this decision because it's arsenal, but also the president takes responsibility for what he does. He's an octogenarian. So, well, the situation with the processes is, we understand the game they are trying to play, right? But that game, let us give it to them. The real focus of the confusion that they are exploiting is part that they are.
Yeah, I think you need to turn down the volume of your television set. Oh,
Okay, all right. So please go ahead.
So, like I was saying, the situation with this currency thing, it is in an act. Emefiele is not God. Buhari is also not God. Buhari did something similar in 1984, where he changed money abroad. Now, there's a difference between 1984 and 2023. In 1984, Buhari was the military dictator. He had suspended the constitution, so he could do as he wishes. Right now, we have a constitutional democracy. It is ruled by consent. It is the people consenting to use their power to the elected official for a period of 4 years. So we have a constitution that dictates what we do, and that constitution says, and that law, we have laws that we must follow, and that law that was passed in 2007, which was what Emefiele referenced in his press release when he was talking about this policy, it said that upon demand by you, that the value of your currency shall be redeemed. So if I go to the bank tomorrow, or I go to the bank in 2084, and I take this currency with me that I collected when I was in Nigeria, the bank shall redeem it. That's why we are going to court, to tell them that the Emefiele might be calling, but he is not calling. To let them know that we understand the law. I am a medical doctor, I am not a lawyer, but I understand English. It says that it shall be redeemed by the bank. So that is why we have to. The President Buhari should be made to know that statement. We have to be surgical. That statement is the real cause of the problem. That the money will become useless, because if it says that the money can be redeemed, the legal tender means what the court approves as a form of payment for them.
that used to say anything that the court agrees that we should drop it down, it extinguishes your debt. So there are some countries that have the currencies of other countries as legal tender within their sovereignty. So legal tender is just a representation of value. But when you say that the value gets lost, that is when you become condition. Because if you are a supermarket, you go to the bank all the time, you take money. Even if my money has to be a legal tender, I can give that money to you and you collect it and you go and you deal with the value in the bank. That is usually the route of redemption of currency. Demonetization is not a new thing. In UK, when they demonetized shillings and law, they did it and converted it to pence. We have some countries like the United States where every country ever issues a legal tender. Man and sir, this 6,900 naira I did not print it. The Central Bank of Nigeria printed it and gave it to me as a representation of value that I have earned from my work, from my education, from my hard work, from my sleepless nights. So in Emefiele, one man, or Muhammad Buhari, one man, cannot take away my sweat. This is my dignity, my money, my hard-earned money. It's my dignity as a person, as a Nigerian. They have a fundamental human right to dignity. It is enshrined in our constitution. So Emefiele cannot take away our fundamental rights. We are still running a democracy. And we have also the legislative arm of government that is supposed to be a check on the executive.
But then, like Rio said earlier, Emefiele did not honor that particular invite.
He didn't until later when he had meeting with the ad hoc committee on CBN, you know, and that was when he apologized.
And that was after they said they were going
that
to.
was after several problems, several crises, and of course the crisis is getting worse. But I think we are getting it wrong somewhere. And I will just quickly go back to last year, 2022, when the APCs were having their primary. I thought in the CBN Act, the CBN governor was not even supposed Emefiele was not supposed to contest for any political position, any political race. He wasn't supposed to be in any political party because he's supposed to be an independent body. But at the long run, he got the 100 million, expression of interest form to the APCs, and then knowing for the fact that his office is one of the most sensitive place to even keep even INEC materials. So
what are you insinuating?
I'm insinuating that he should have been sacked for misbehaving then, because it was a misbehavior. Now this thing might just repeat itself. Unethical. Yes, it might just repeat itself in the nearest future, and somebody will make reference to Godwin Emefiele and say, in 2022, did the CBN governor not contest? He contested for an election.
He tried.
And Buhari said something. If you have a political appointment, a minister or whatever thing you are, the electoral amendment, the electoral act, said you have to resign. He did not resign. I'm just reading something here.
At that point in time, that was when he now went on Twitter and now smiled.
He was
just cashing cruise.
Now you can imagine my CBN governor.
He is not contesting.
Whatever, either he paid or a group of people contributed money to pay on his behalf, and you said you were using 100 million to catch cruise, and you have the guts and effrontery to tell me I can only withdraw 100,000 naira in a week or 20,000 naira per day. Then 100 naira in a
100,000 in a week.
In a week, when you are using 100 million to catch cruise, then you came out. What if he came out? What if he come out to say again that he has been catching cruise? Because I just look at was that not at our expense?
You see, I think we lack discipline in this country.
The
corruption level.
But I thought just that Muhammadu Buhari was about discipline.
It's not just about money, Tomisi. It's not about corruption. It's not just about money. It doesn't always have to do with money. This is corruption at its best, and he should have been punished instantly.
And then that same man is now giving you a policy that is heaping.
You understand? Now you get it.
And difficulty on Nigerians.
Even the president himself should have told him to go back
to the drawing board.
Do the correct thing. If he is really about corruption.
I get that part.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
So, are we saying here, Maridoti, are you still with us?
I'm with you, please.
So this all comes back to a particular question. The president is pointing out that he is fighting corruption. He wants to mop up cash from the streets, disempower the so-called politicians and people who had stuck cash for a long time. El-Rufai brought a very valid, situation. Farmers who didn't steal their money, whose only means of communication with the rest of the world is trade. And these people exist in places in Nigeria where there are no banks. I mean, in Borno State, there are only 2 local governments in Borno State. As big as Borno is the size of about 3-4 states in the south. And Borno State, as big as it is, has only 2 local governments with banks. The other 13 or 14 or 15.
Kano has about 40-something local government, and Abudullah Ganduje said about 24 local governments in Kano State. As big as Kano, the second populated state in Nigeria, does not have banks in 24 local government areas.
Kaduna, the most elite of the southern states, apart from Plateau. Even Plateau is worse because Kaduna has just 2 local governments without banks. But in Plateau, have been to Plateau, and I traveled a 6-hour distance from Kefi, all the way from Akwanga rather, all the way to Jos, and I did not see a single cash point, not even a bank. So the nearest place we could get money was Jos itself. So with this kind of policy, obviously the people in the north are very much more affected, disadvantaged, much more affected, even with the policy of the CBN carrying cash to their neighborhoods to go exchange. I mean, a farmer who has stored over 5 million naira in his house over time that he's using to trade, pay his workers, and feed his family. A relatively rich man becomes a poor man suddenly because he cannot exchange his money, even with his money. So with this kind of hardship and the body language of the president, are you sure that the president is actually listening to Nigerians, or is it that
does
these
he
people
even care? Tommy Singh, does he care?
Derry, you have the floor.
Does he care?
It's the most important question. Like, does he care? Well, is there love in his heart? Does he care about his own people? Does he care? Because I can't imagine a Fulani herdsman that's supposed to sell a cow for 400,000 naira that's selling for 3,000, 200,000 naira right now, just so they can get new notes or something like that. When we talk about, the president says he wants to focus on what we call it. He said he wants to zone in on corruption, but what is the opportunity cost? You see, is the corruption that he's trying to fight, is it more important than the burning down of Nigeria or destroying our democracy? Is that corruption more important than that? And Emefiele has told a lot of lies. That man lies. If he was Pinocchio, he would not run around the world like 53 times. Because when he said that in the United States, if you go and withdraw 10,000 naira, you are going to build countless of homes, that is lie. The United States is not trying to triple its economy. They want you to do billions of dollars. What he was referring to was the Bank Secrecy Act of 1970 that gives the bankers the obligation to report any transaction, not just cash, any transaction above $10,000. People withdraw $10,000, $50,000 cash in the bank to go and spray at strip clubs or for useless things. So it is just lying. And the truth about it is that the impeachment clause is not meant solely for the president. Anybody that the Senate has the power to approve can be impeached.
Unfortunately, your Senate is on recess. They went on recess the last week of last month.
Yes, the Senate president can call an emergency session. That is a part of their processes. They can call an emergency session and impeach the man. If they approve him, they have the right to advise and consent. Emefiele was a disaster in the first place. Why did they consent? Why did they not advise? Emefiele is the one that has destroyed the Nigerian economy up until this point. It's the arbitrary exchange rate that he has created, the 2 levels of exchange rate that he has created. That is the reason. If you remember,
Vice President.
But it's supported by the president. You see, and kicked against by the vice president. We must give him, because despite all the opposition, he kept up persistently kicking against it. Now, we can remember back in 2014, why did the Naira go down? The Naira went down because the price of oil went down. Because our forex is 90% from oil. Now, the price of oil has gone up with the Russian war and everything. The Naira is no longer sensitive to the price of oil. And what was happening back then? What was happening back then in the global stage was that Saudi Arabia was fighting United States of America because US started fracking and they were producing more oil. And Saudi Arabia wanted that oil to not be successful. For the US oil fracking to be successful, oil needed to be trading at about $88 per barrel. So Saudi called all of us in OPEC to pump up oil so that we drop the price. And that was why our economy suffered. So instead of Nigeria to do what Asiwaju did in Lagos and re-engineer the finances and bring in other multiple streams of income, we gave a knee-jerk reaction that if we are not earning forex, then we should not let it go out. And this policy started under Goodluck Jonathan. But Buhari now owned the policy. He now put it on overdrive. And Emefiele now saw that he could exploit Buhari, because Emefiele, what he is doing is that they are exploiting the innocent man. They are exploiting him. They are playing him because he knows, Emefiele knows that he does not have the power to tell you that your money becomes useless in your hand, but he said it anyways. He knows.
So he doesn't have the power. He's not backed by the power. The president backs, but there is a constitution in Nigeria that Nigerians can take to court. Unfortunately, the same court that Nigerians should go to for recess, for some form of respite, is the same, and consolation is the same court that granted an injunction to 14 political parties that came together to say that Mr. President must not extend the deadline past February 10. Do we still have a constitution? Are we still running on law here? Are we still looking at the CBN Act? Are we still looking at the law, the rights of Nigerians?
I believe there was a lot of, there's also the corruption in the legal system, which also needs to be, flushed out over time. But that would be based on the argument that is also. So I would like to give the judges, a little bit of leeway and say, whatever that judge had taken was based on the argument that was presented to him, and the fact that the merit of the case should not have even gotten the judge's attention, but it got the judge's attention, and they placed an argument on him. But here is the superior argument. The superior argument is that we have the 2007 CBN Act, which is what Emefiele quoted when he was bringing out this policy, and that act says that the banks shall redeem the face value of the currency. So my currency might cease to be legal tender, but whenever I decide in the course of my life or the life of my children to take that money back because I did not print it, the money shall be redeemed. It shall be redeemed. There is nothing they can do about it. No matter how long it takes.
And when it came to address people about 2 weeks ago, that no matter how long it takes, you can keep taking your money to the bank.
Yes.
That was what Emefiele came out to say. So I'm still wondering how they now say exchange it. I mean, we're passing out laws and making pronouncements and going to court, and everybody is just talking, and we do not know which one. It looks as if we're a confused set of people.
They are confusing us, and we are confused. We are confused.
Of course, we are confused because nobody has an answer, seems to have an answer to anything. I was telling someone, I said yesterday, I didn't have anything at home. And we had to get some money, The POS people are saying for 10,000, they take 2,500. Why don't they just take the whole 10,000? It doesn't make any sense. I went to the bank and I asked to see the bank manager. I said, look, we need to have some cash. He said there was no cash. I said, so why are you hoarding the cash? We are told the CBN.
That's another problem.
I said the CBN governor said to us that you guys, they've released the funds. You guys are hoarding this money. Why are you doing that?
Now, CBN was actually honest by saying they have actually distributed or
we saw some.
Did they distribute enough money to mop up what is outside?
Now, I don't know if there was enough money, but we just saw some holding money in their banks.
But see, with the monies in their banks, let us assume a typical POS guy does say about 200, 300,000 in a day, and you have 10 of them in Alausa. For example, that's 2 million naira. I'm just saying minimum in just Alausa. So that's about 2 million. and one bank tells you they have only 1 million naira, in terms of cash that was given to them. Let's take, for example, the nearest one to us here, Access Bank. They have let's assume they have 1 million naira, and the POS guy needs 2 million. The people at the ATM machines need money. So the people that would now go to the counter also need money. Where is the money coming from? Did CBN produce enough naira to cater for the needs of Nigerians?
That's why I said no, we are not getting the answers to anything. When I accused the bank manager, I said, this is what the CBN governor says. I need you to tell me something. And it is my right to know. Tell me where you have kept the money, because that's what they're telling us. And we saw clips that some banks are hoarding this money. Show me where you have hoarded your money. You know what he said? He said he's been requesting from their headquarters to send money to them. They just got a little supply yesterday, and that they've decided to give as many people as they can, 5,000 each. So I said, I won't be able to get any money. He said he can't give me any money. Eventually, when I said, look, my house help is in the car, there's nothing for her to eat. I took her out because I need to give her money to buy stuff. He eventually was able to give me 5,000 naira.
What currency? What denomination?
50 naira notes.
Which was not even redesigned. So we did not redesign the 100 naira notes. We did not redesign the 50 naira.
I said something.
How come
I said something last. I said I withdrew 100 naira. I showed you.
Yeah.
Just lay the 100 naira note out and hold your 200
exactly.
and 500.
So
what is happening?
Didn't we have these currencies before? Dare, you want to respond to this?
It was even the 29 naira.
We have to
bring the 100 naira.
We have 10.
I believe.
Something we can back.
I believe.
How would I have one?
I
believe.
Because we need to go. I can only take 5,000.
I believe we have to also be circumspect about this. We have to think about the fact that, when you create a system, and these bankers, you can call it hoarding, but they are not hoarding it to keep it for themselves. They have to give it to people too. It is when there is scarcity that you are not going to say there is hoarding or whatever, because a lot of people need money. Money is a liquid asset. It goes. That is why they have it. But when nobody knows if they are going to have it, even the 2,000 naira that you have in your pocket, you won't spend it. And that is a part of what is complicating the problem. Let us do the math. Emefiele said there are about 2.73 trillion naira in circulation that is outside the bank vault. If we divided that by 200 million people, that is just about 10,000 naira per person. Are you trying to say that is what is illegal? 10,000 naira per person? It does not make sense. We have to put it into perspective. The fact that there's 2.3 trillion naira, 2.7 trillion naira, and then he says that without putting it into perspective. So the thing is that Emefiele caused this legal tender. Yes, he has the power, but to say we are going to lose our value, because that is what is causing this rush. Because if you know that, if all of you know that today, if you took your money that is no longer legal tender to the bank, you are going to
be accepted.
Get the value back. It will be accepted. Nobody will have problems. Everybody will keep on spending it. And when you go to maybe a supermarket, somebody will take it to the
people will still accept it from you.
That's exactly
exactly. But when he's telling you that it is going to be useless, so when you take it to the bank, it will not mean it. That is the confusion that Emefiele did, and that is not in the act. The act actually specifies the only time when the money should not be. So the act was not silent. It specified the only time when the money will not be taken by the bank. He said if it is lost, so if you lose your money or they stole your money, you can't go and meet CBN that come and give me money. Or if it is mutilated, and he now gave an exception in the section 22 subsection 2 of that one, that even if the money is mutilated, the bank ex gratia, that is in terms of like out of passion, out of sympathy, can still collect this money from you, but it is just their own discretion, even when it's mutilated. So the act was not silent. It says that for the eternity of the money, because I did not print this money. You cannot. How do we want to have foreign investors and grow our economy when we are telling our foreign investors, when you bring your money to our country, we can decide at our whim to capriciously demonetize it, and then your money is gone. So you are telling Warren Buffett or Bill Gates to come and invest. So he has brought his money, has provided it to Naira. We now demonetize all of it. We now want another Bill Gates to come and invest in our country.
I want to
They
say
are
thank
playing
you
a
to
game
you this
that's
morning.
impossible.
Thank you so much,
Thank you very
Gary.
much.
We've heard you, we've listened to you. And of course, thank you for bringing some of the salient points, to bear this morning. I'm sure that the authorities are listening. We hope that they have listened and they have digested what has been said. You have a lovely day and please go back to sleep. We know that it's
Thank you
still
very much.
midnight where you are. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye. Thank you.
Right.
The fact that they are in a country that the system works.
He actually
They
comes
could
home
feel
almost
the
every
pain.
month. He actually comes home almost every month. He was here in December, if I'm correct. Yeah.
They could
Early
feel the
January.
pain even from
I mean,
abroad.
because
and no, like,
things work, everything works there, and not everything, but it's a working
At least
system.
it's
You
a
understand
working-
what I'm saying?
there's a working
and
system.
there's a basis for comparison, and the pain he feels is that we have everything we need to make this thing work.
Unfortunately, it's not happening.
It's not happening.
would you say we lack leaders or management in Nigeria?
Unfortunately, I think what we lack is compassion, love, and the ability to listen.
Because Thomas, if you ask me, I will tell
We
you.
don't lack the
I will
leaders,
tell
they
you-
choose not to lead, they choose to rule. We don't lack the people, they choose not to be compassionate.
I'll tell you,
they choose not to love,
Nigeria
they choose
as a
not to
country
listen.
has the best or most intelligent politicians. Now, politicians are different from leaders.
Hold on. Did you just say politicians or politicians?
I don't know, but
You say what you want to say.
they are tricking
You
us.
see,
Yes, she's
because
right. We
When
have
it, comes to,
politicians
when it comes to politics,
in Nigeria.
and you read some of the posts, people can be. I mean, Atiku Abubakar was for this earlier. The hardship, blah blah blah, and then much later was no longer for it. And then Peter Obi, I'm not even sure if he has spoken about it or anything. Maybe I will read through his tweets and check if he has said anything
Peter
about
Obi,
it.
you mentioned,
And then-
you just reminded me of Seun Kuti having interview with Seun on one of the television stations.
Seun Kuti, yeah?
Yeah, and then somebody asked Seun Kuti his preferred candidate. He said Sowore is his preferred candidate
Yeah, he
because
said so.
Sowore had been suffering even for Nigeria for a very long time. Even while he was in school, I think he graduated from Unilag, Lagos State University of Lagos State. I mean, and then after a while he traveled out. Then he came with his own, media platform and so on and so on. Then when they talked about Peter Obi, he said Peter Obi is an opportunist. That just feel in 18 months they can have plans for Nigeria, because like somebody called me and I said, see, 5 years ago, or let me say 10 years ago, Peter probably did not have the intention or mindset that is coming to contest for president in the country. I'm not disputing the fact that he's one of the vibrant and healthy candidates among all the candidates, right? I'm not disputing the fact that people commented him. I mean, commending him in Anambra State when he finished his 8 years and all. But you can still compare 8 years of governorship in Anambra with some other people. Well, almost all of them contesting now. We are at a point in time in a political office.
But are you really sure that people commended him in Anambra?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure because
a lot of
people said
a lot of Anambra
the only thing that he did in Anambra was
education and beer.
and the breweries.
Chris
something
Ngige
like-
said something. I think Chris Ngige finished before he came in. He dropped. He took over from Chris Ngige, and Chris Ngige said almost all the project he started, he was expecting him to complete it,
them.
and he said they are still there, uncompleted
And
project.
basically,
all.
didn't they come in from under the platform of the same party?
So Nigeria. One thing I know my country for is the moment we are tired of a particular thing or person, we don't care what the alternative is. We don't care where the alternative is coming. We just want to change it. Like, okay, we don't want this thing again. This is what we want, without proper research and understanding of that particular thing. So Seun Kuti was saying, no, this man left PDP. This man was the running mate to Atiku Abubakar. The same man a lot of you are condemning for him now he was the vice presidential candidate for him in 2019. So if he had, studied these people very well and their party, why did he join? It was among Jonathan administration, maybe working quietly, but he was among. So how did things go wrong that time? And then coming back to now, he said no, 18 months, and he said you have plans for Nigeria, and he traveled to Egypt to go and study their electricity for I think 3 days or thereabout. How can you study a whole country electricity for 3 days and come back to say, oh, I want to fix Nigeria? So a lot of things, but the problem I have are the obedience, the people on Twitter and Instagram. You cannot freely and willingly come out to air your opinion on social media now. They will come after you, and it might just affect you psychologically when somebody who is not even up to you is coming out, calling you out on social media.
Calling you out on social media. Did you watch the one where two celebrities called each other out? I'll tell you why. And where I think it was Paul or Peter. Which of them?
Paul and Peter has been acting. I know I don't want to use the very wrong words, but they just attacked anybody.
One of
just
them
like
actually
Peter attacked Seun Kuti.
I think attacked AY as well.
But you see, all these things come with politics. All these things come, but every party is criticizing the other party. I can't remember what the headline was.
What about the ones
and then they said it was PDP, and I'm sure that if you read it well, the undertone is coming from the APC. So I mean, all this you expect in politics. It's just that it's a different wave now because of the social media and the youths. The youths are, a number of them are in support of Peter Obi, and we know quite all right what the youths can do.
Should they actually stuff it down people's throats?
You see, the thing is that when something is offered to you on a platter of gold, okay, you should be weary. You should be weary of it, and I know why I'm.
What are you insinuating?
What I'm saying is that, I mean, you just said it. You said this man was not expecting, to be to run this race.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a test, and he has this much supporters. So the strength, the encouragement, and everything just came suddenly. But you see, one has to be worried because I'm of the school of thought that he still needs a little more schooling. In terms of leadership. Nigeria, we're talking about Nigeria here. We're not talking about
Anambra.
A state. We're not talking about a community.
Where people are not even ascertained.
Yes.
People have not even accepted the fact that he is performed. His policies, they say we're not for the people.
Anambra is one of the states or the state that made more money, in the southeast. So they have the highest number of billionaires.
The tendency to get overwhelmed. The tendency to
saved
get
it for them. He
overwhelmed.
helped them to save it and invest
is there. The tendency to get overwhelmed
Very
is
true.
there.
Very
so
true.
one has to tread carefully. It's very important. And I'm saying that because look at Ogun State, for example. We have not benefited anything at all. And I keep saying this. We've not benefited anything. I mean, when something comes to you on a platter of gold,
and everybody says, oh, this should be the person, blah, blah, blah. It should be able to perform. And we're watching for the performance.
Nigerians can be funny when it comes to expectation. Just the way we expected Buhari to do magic. Although I've always had issues with His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, because sometimes you just tell me, oh, the minister came to tell you, oh, this is it, we've done it. President would not even, maybe he did not confirm or not, he will come on national TV and tell you, oh, we have done it. And sometimes, the president might have good intentions for the country, but then check the wings around the president, check the civil servants. A lot of them are corrupt. Even just ministry of this, ministry of that. You have to know somebody to know somebody. Recruitment are not even done based on merit. It's based on favorism and nepotism. And all these things really affect the country. People don't know.
But we should have expected it. I mean, look, when one is winding down and you're saying that person should lead, come on now. You don't, I mean, you should expect things like that.
After all, the person has already told you that particularly because particularly because I think I was I was pregnant. I was heavily pregnant at that point in time. My challenge, however, was when the people in my house and everybody around me was screaming and screaming and screaming for a particular person, I just kept looking at them because, you see, my father made us read certain books, the history books and so many of the journals and books written about the Idi Amin, the Idi Agbo, the military regime in Nigeria where we were growing up. So it became one of the best things that I do. I love to read. So I wasn't particularly sure. I saw President Muhammadu Buhari coming to duplicate some of the things that he did then.
In 1983.
In 1983. Now, when El-Rufai was talking about it and said, if you had studied how he ran his presidency when he was first president, you would have noticed that some of these policies were just imported from then to now. So I look at it and I'm like, oh, it's true. Now, that's Buhari. Atiku Abubakar, a couple of weeks, I was talking about the tweet, so I needed to look for the tweet. It is my hope. It started with, it is commendable that CBN finally listened to the patriotic voices for a slight extension of the January 31 deadline for the exchange of the old Naira notes to minimize its adverse effect on most vulnerable of our people. I suggest the central bank should encourage banks to step up their mobile banking activities to ensure Nigerians in remote areas and unbanked benefit from this extension. There is no mobile banking in those areas.
I was like trying to put it together.
Because he know the open, man talk pidgin. He know the open.
In the rural areas,
okay, for city,
how can you
for Lagos, where people like say that 4G, 5G we dey use.
He no open. USSD code. He no go.
He no dey work. Talking, he no dey work.
In my head, I was like, why is everything happening at the same time? Fuel scarcity, Naira scarcity. Why is everything happening at the same time? Why?
Okay, so it is my hope that Nigerians will take advantage of this new window to change their old notes to new ones. Okay, so it sends that. This was Atiku Abubakar's tweets on the 29th of January 2023. Now, just about a day ago, there was a U-turn. Atiku Abubakar lamented the Naira redesign from the news now. Lamented the Naira redesign policy as it is putting so much pressure on Nigerians. He said, putting Nigerians through so much pain. It made a submission on the 7th of February, some days after supporting the initiative. Now, it says, Atiku noted that the policy had plunged businesses across the country into distress as he pleaded with the Buhari-led government to act fast. Now, days after lending his full support to the policy. It seems on the U-turn, he admitted the CBN's initiative has brought about serious distress for businesses and cash-dependent small-order enterprises.
Maybe at first he thought it would pay.
Exactly.
And when you realize that, could pay me.
No, hold on. You see, what my challenge now is the fact that
angle.
When you are planning to be president of the country, your concern should not just be about the people. Who are the 14 political parties who came together to go restrain President Muhammadu Buhari from giving us, Nigerians, respite?
Did they mention them?
Oh,
Were they mentioned?
I know AA and some other ones, they brought them together, 14 of the ones that are contested.
And they met with the president?
No, they went to court.
Was his party among?
What?
Was PDP among?
No, they're the minor parties. The minor parties. And they threatened to boycott the elections. Now, this is where I feel leadership comes in. I'm a leading political party candidate. I will come out in the open and condemn what they did. Because I was the one who actually called and said this is heaping untold hardship on the people. So if you boycott election, I wanted to check how many of these political parties who want to boycott election actually have a presidential candidate.
Well, I like to see it from a different angle. I mean, there are times we take certain decisions as human beings, individuals, and then we realize that the effects of those decisions are on the negative side. And then you want to recall, you want to take it back and
make a U-turn.
And do a damage control or completely stop it or something. You want to take a decision to earn positive results.
Of course.
So that's normal. That's for me. This is me looking at it plainly.
I'm saying
and objectively.
This was not too good.
Well, and I would, as a matter of fact, I would even commend him because some people will say, "Oh, they've already said this. They're not going to say another thing." And if he has said that, and he himself came out to say it's not working, it's causing untold hardship for Nigerians. Well, I mean, to some extent, let's give it to him. I don't think it's about him. I don't think he's thinking about himself. He has seen the effect
on the Nigerians.
This policy is good, but it's not working
at first,
right
perhaps
now.
it was about him. And, you know, and then now he now says that it's affecting Nigerians. He can't just keep, I think
so
it's
now all the political parties, as a matter of all the foreigners, should actually come out. I mean, there is a point where you can call the president and say, we want to govern a country that is standing. We want to govern a country.
Because this is war.
That is not.
It's not until we carry guns.
Yes.
This is war.
This is war.
It's just like when there was COVID. We were at war.
Exactly. War. This is a country that we want to govern. We want it to still be standing as one. We want the country to become enough, not on fire.
And you know,
whoever comes out, whoever emerges as president. So collectively, they should be speaking. I mean, any Nigerian right now that has the mind of Nigerians and is seeing, can see with two eyes or hear, should be able to say to President Muhammadu, enough is enough. We don't want it.
I was in Ibadan over the weekend, and you know what that means.
Yeah,
I was.
We heard about the crisis and all.
Do you know that in Iyanokpaja yesterday, right here in Lagos, there was crisis last night?
That's the implication of this naira scarcity. See, implication of fuel scarcity, I cannot even mention one. It's too simple. Implication of naira scarcity, we make boys in the daylight stop you, rob you. They won't even get to see naira on you now.
You see, I don't have a problem with that, if you ask me. I really don't. But you know what I want them to do? They should go to the people who are causing the problem. If they want to stop them, if they want to, whatever they want to do, let them do, but not to the innocent. We're in this together. And
exactly.
That's they should.
These are the Nigerians that are suffering.
Yes.
And the idea of burning, but my director can put up the video. Yesterday in Abeokuta, the places that were burnt up and all of that, and the fire that was lit. These are young people. These are youths. And I'm asking myself, why are you protesting and causing hardship for the people who are like you? Those who are suffering.
Because there are two kind of protesters. You have the peaceful protesters, and you have the ones who take advantage
of the situation
of that protest. Now, somebody was saying you can always know beginning of a protest. The end of a protest, you cannot. And that's what the Commissioner of Police in Ondo State has been saying. Like, there won't be any form of protest. But now, when you come out as as an agency or a uniform person or a government, and you say you must not protest, knowing for the fact that there is freedom to protest in democracy, and now you are telling us don't protest, it's like you're flogging us and you're telling us not to cry. The best way the general populace can voice out is through a protest, but peaceful protest, But in Nigeria now, any little peaceful protest they will take advantage of it
because you know that the people who are going to take advantage of it are also waiting by the sidelines. What we have,
they have always wanted protest. Those boys, any little thing, you go and damage traffic lights.
Do you know that
even traffic light and never redesign?
Even sometimes when the hoodlums don't act in time, sometimes the law enforcement agents fuel this thing because they're doing a peaceful protest, and then you start throwing tear gas, and then they now. But by the way, Tomisi, I think I need to mention this. I passed through Ketu a couple of days ago, and I remember we had the PPRO on the program some weeks ago, and honestly, the police are there. Their presence is there, even on bikes.
Now,
staying by. So we must
kudos to you, Benjamin. Yes, kudos to you, Benjamin.
Yes.
All right, Wemimo Ajabi is in the studio this morning, and we want to talk about the mental effect of all of this hardship on Nigerians. How are you coping? How should you cope? What can be your coping mechanism or strategy at a time like this? We will take a break. When we come back, we're talking some more.
Papa, mama, brother, sister, this Lagos must work for all of us. everybody jà fún Èkó.
Oh yes, Lagos people, papa, mama, sister, brother, auntie, plus including uncle them. Better don land for Lagos State gidigba. Money wey be for Lagos State, then go use am for Lagos State. Wella, no more baba sope. Dem no go chop Lagos State money. Nobody go pocket Lagos State. Dem go take am build Lagos State, build road, build hospital, build houses, and na only one man fit do this job. His name na Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran Jandor. He con carry one ogbonge person as the deputy governor. Her name na Funke Akindele. My people, wetin we dey wait for? Make we vote for light, vote for change. No be the kind change wey dem vote before. This one na the original change. How Amumu don do? Pay dey pay.
Everybody jà fún Èkó.
Set to take the African continent and the world by storm. They are giants in every sense of the word, and they will bring entertainment that's just as big. Don't miss the first ever season of Big Brother Titans with two African giants, Naija and Nsamse, under Biggie's roof together. Big Brother Titans starts on Sunday, 15th of January on DSTV 198, GoTV 29, and Africa Magic. Headline sponsor, Bamboo, Flutterwave, and Lotto Star.